Welcome back to Batman, right here at Comicstorian. Comicstorian is your home for comic book knowledge, where we explain things that happen in the movies, we talk about stuff going on in the TV shows, and of course, we break your favorite comic books down into dramatic pieces, little digestible bites for you to understand what's going on. And today, we're going to be covering Batman issue 95. Now, this is Joker War Part 1, and what has basically happened is a villain known as the Designer came up with a master plan to disassemble Batman and all of his Bat family. Well, the Joker took that plan and has enacted it, and he basically just defeated Batman, thus leading to the beginning of the Joker War. We have all the coverage before this leading up to this point, but today let's get right into that issue. Years ago, Batman found himself in a similar situation with the Joker, and as always, Alfred was there backing him up. As Batman races through the city, Alfred asks if he's thinking about them, the bodies, the test subjects at the chemical plants. How many has this Joker figure already killed? Batman tells him, 24. I expect there to be more bodies at the reservoir. Alfred says that they can bring this nightmare to an end, but Batman thinks that this is not the end. It's too difficult to put into words. His motivations are beyond anything that they've encountered before. It feels like an oversimplification to call the Joker insane. Batman has seen more bodies than he can count, but there's always been a reason behind those murders, whether it's a means to an end or some kind of thrill. But to the Joker, those bodies are just meat. The city, this whole world, the people in it, they're already dead in his eyes. Alfred asks, there's more, isn't it? Something that you aren't saying. And Batman tells him, all of these killings, it feels like some kind of a test to understand my limits. It's like the Joker knows that I'm going to lose. He already knows that he wants to come back next time, and the time after. It's as if he's the only other person in the world that thinks he's alive. It's as if I'm the only other person in the world that he thinks is alive, and because of that, our battle may never end. Alfred laughs. Well, Master Bruce, at least you won't be waging it alone. You don't think I'd let you fight a murderous nightmare clown for the rest of time on your own, do you? Now the entrance to the viaduct is on your left. Get ready to ram through the gate in 3, 2, but now we go to the current time. The time where Alfred is dead. Batman is alone, and he's exploding through the same gate trying to track down the Joker. But as the Joker's clowns give chase, Batman sees a dead end up ahead. One of the clowns jumps out shouting that there's nowhere left to run, that this city doesn't belong to the Bat anymore. The clown then takes aim with his RPG, firing right into the Batmobile. And as that car explodes, the clowns get closer and they find that the inside is already empty. The clown takes out his phone, calling Punchline, the Joker's new sidekick, telling her that they've got another shell. No bat meat on the inside of this one. Punchline tells him, you know what? That's okay. We just finished hacking the main computer here at Wayne Enterprises. The Joker did always love Batman's little names for everything. Says that Batman pretends it's the kids who named them. But the Joker knows better. Now, Mr. Fox, focus. You're now Joker CEO, and you must tell him everything in that sweet little head. Let the toxin do the work. What do you call this place? Lucius tries to fight back the urge to talk, but he suddenly begins to laugh. The hibernaculum. Punchline sighs. And that's where bats breed. That's disgusting! You've been breeding all sorts of little bats, haven't you? Lucius begins to speak again, but this time he asks, where is Joker? Punchline asks, where would you go if you were suddenly worth almost $100 billion? You'd go shopping. Meanwhile, at the Monarch Theater in Park Row, the curator says that the people used to call this place Crime Alley. Couldn't walk down the streets without getting into some real trouble. And if it ever got too late, he used to sleep up on the old reels. Joker says, oh, it must have been very hard. And the curator goes on telling him, yeah, especially for the Waynes, too. The dad used to like taking the son here, watch the movies that he grew up on. It's funny. It sounds like there are people down in the theater. But the Joker tells him, oh, it's probably the wind. Old theaters just get that way. The curator then says that it's hard to say goodbye to this place. The boy, Bruce, he came by with a few offers, but I'd be crazy to turn down this offer. I could buy a whole town back in coal country where my grandkids are. Joker tells him, and you should. Make yourself mayor. Get some t-shirts. It's a fun game while it lasts. The curator asks, are you sure there's no one down there? It sounds like people are laughing. Joker picks up a reel labeled The Mask of Zorro and says, Well, why don't you go join them in the audience? The show is about to start. And down below, the theater is packed with those infected with the Joker's toxin. Meanwhile, outside of Wayne Enterprises, Batman is scaling the side of the building, listening in for any locations that he can enter. And once he stops hearing voices, he scans the floors to see how many people are in the building. And as his visor lights up, he sees dozens of armed men across all of the floors. After climbing to the top, he sneaks into the main computer room, and he tells the computer to search for the Joker. Punchline comes out of the shadows, stating, "He isn't here right now!" As she hits him in the back of the head, she asks, "Was this supposed to be your secret hideout or something? Your friend, Mr. Fox, outlined 6 micro caves in this building. 6! It's like you planned every type of attack on Gotham, a cave to prepare for each different crisis. But this one was my favorite. And you want to know why? This is the one you haven't earned yet. It's the one you were going to unlock when you and Mr. Fox and Mr. Wayne had finished building the new Gotham." As Punchline attacks, she presses a button and the door begins to open, and inside a new type of bat suit stands. Batman looks over at the advanced suit asking, "When? Who? Lucius, did you design this?" Lucius tries to hold back his laughter. "No, I found it in the computer. I thought it was you." Punchline bursts out laughing. "Did you really think that we were the crazy ones? It's too bad that you're not going to get your beautiful city of the future. No new toys, no new duds." At that moment, Batman begins to stumble back. I don't understand." And Punchline goes on, "You're looking pretty rough. Her Deathstroke got you pretty good. Oh, I know what it is. It's the poison in the room, Batman. I spent the last few years building up my immunities to it. It's a little blend of my own. Some of the Joker's toxin, tweaked with a little bit of the fear toxin, and a little bit of venom for good measure." Batman trips as he tries to run through the window, and that's when he hears a voice. "Master Bruce, not that way, you're going backwards." Batman turns. "Alfred! Alfred!" Batman stares out the window directly at an armed bat jet, and Alfred yells, "I've taken all of your vehicles! Master Bruce, you need to get out of there!" Batman responds, "No, it's not real! You're dead! Dead!" And Alfred tells him, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They're all dead now." And that's when the jet fires its payload right into the window. And that concludes Joker War Part 1. Now, for those of you guys who are going to make the comment down below, "Benny, you're late on this one." Honestly, I was going to wait for this one to finish, do the whole thing as one big video in general. I was going to just give you guys the whole Joker War as one thing. But apparently every other comic book YouTuber is already covering the Joker War, so I got to catch up and get this out to you guys right now. So that means don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button because Joker War Part 2 is going to be dropping next week. Also, don't forget, we're going to be continuing Deceased. I'm going to be going into the Jonathan Kent Superman story very soon. We're covering Empire with all the Marvel stuff that's going on over there. You got the Gamerverse with the Spider-Man stuff and the Avengers stuff, and all that stuff is happening. So what I'm getting at, guys, is if you want to support this channel, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and you can get early access to many of our videos by going to our Patreon at patreon.com/Comicstorian. I'll see you guys next time right here.